Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name's Leanne Phillips and I'm a marketing manager from Saatchi & Saatchi, and I'm here today to deliver an exciting IMC campaign to the bank to use the Royal Banking Commission findings to actually build and strengthen brand and to actually increase market share. So you'll notice in the picture behind that we have a garden gnome next to a Hills hoist in an Australian backyard, with writing in chalk representing children, and we're talking about taking people up the right path, where with the recent Royal Banking Commission findings, a lot of customers in banks may actually feel that they've been led up the garden path. Well, we want to change that and make this an exciting time for ANZ. So first we'll start with a bit of background information, which I'm sure you're all aware of, but let's have a look just to recap. So this year, the Royal Commission findings were released early in 2019 in February. This was followed by media and government condemnation and customer and community backlash. The economy has now weakened, not because of that, but because of other factors. And the Reserve Bank have cut cash rates. The reluctance of lenders, particularly banks, to pass on this full rate cut has led to further media, government, customer and community condemnation. So what does this mean for us? This actually represents an opportunity for us. So when we first started looking at this IMC campaign, we thought about decision factors. So when we started on this campaign, we looked at decision factors. So the things that we needed to consider before embarking on a creative strategy. So we thought about alternative courses of action. So we could do nothing. What would happen if we did nothing? Well, I guess the bank would likely lose some lending customers and struggle to retain the existing customers that have yet to take out loans, and probably not be able to attain a lot more customers in the current climate. And we could wait and see what other banks do, but yes, we always do that, don't we? And maybe this time we decided we wanted to be a leader, and in a good way. Of course, there are uncertainties to consider. So the slowing economy does present challenges for us, and also the likelihood of increased government security is uncertain, but this is also another incentive for us to push ahead and seize the opportunity. We considered our target audience and competitors. So for our target audience, we have chosen to go with who are we targeting? So we're going with existing ANZ non-lending customers for growth, so to get them into other products with ANZ. We've chosen existing ANZ lending customers who we want to retain, and we've chosen non-ANZ lending customers, which we'll try to acquire. And who are we competing with? Well, there's other big banks, there's smaller banks, and there's alternative lenders. As you can see, there are quite a number of players in the market now, and following the recent Royal Banking Commission findings, people are looking for other alternatives. So what's our key message? We are different. We're different from who we were, and we're different from other banks. So we have come up with some objectives. So our first one was attrition. So we're targeting in this area, we're targeting non-ANZ lending customers. And we've developed some SMART goals to measure how we will achieve this. And we are aiming for a market share goal of a 25% increase in our lending products, and given ourselves a 6-month deadline to do this. We believe that the capabilities are already there and that this is achievable and realistic, but we also think it's ambitious enough to represent a genuine target. Retention, we're looking at our existing customers, both non-lending and lending, and we've developed a SMART goal for them based on the retention rate. So we want to increase retention rates in the lending area, and then we want to measure this against the overall bank and the sector as a whole. And our third objective is customer satisfaction. So who are we targeting here? We're targeting all our existing customers and hopefully those non-ANZ customers that have now become ANZ customers. And we want to see a rate of 80% as a customer satisfaction result with the Roy Morgan survey. Our latest result was 76.5%, so it is achievable. Not overly ambitious, but considering the current climate and the likelihood that this is could drop, it's an ambitious enough target. So what's the big idea? Ta-da! We're going to pass on the recent rate cut in full. So how do we make money with less interest, you say? So we all know how banks make money. We make money on interest from our loans and our credit cards and our other products. And the cost to us is the interest that we pay others. So how are we going to make money with less interest? Well, higher retention rates plus more new customers equals a larger market share. And we know from history that establishing an attractive competitive position depends on the specific history of a firm's innovative activity, and ANZ is definitely a leader in this regard. So then we looked at the Marcom mix. So we're going to have a mix of advertising. So we're looking at TV, free-to-air and paid TV. We know we miss a lot of the market on free-to-air TV these days. Social media, we're targeting Facebook, Twitter and Instagram as the most likely platforms to reach our target customers. We're going to have a range of print materials, both in-store and for direct marketing campaigns, for our booths and our simulated auctions, which I'll get to in a minute. We're going to have personal selling through our lending managers, so they're going to play a significant role here. And we're going to have some experiential marketing. So we're going to have some simulated auctions and display centre booths at display centre villages in metro areas. So our creative strategy needs to incorporate four main elements. So we must acknowledge the findings, first of all, and demonstrate transparency. We must stick to our ANZ brand and show how we care about our customers and how our actions contribute to the community. We must highlight a promise to do better, and the strength of the organisation must be stressed at the same time. So if we follow passing on a rate cut, then we also need to back that with our expertise in banking rather than just doing it as here's a cheap rate. And we must make a direct and emotional connection to lenders to ensure sincerity so they believe us. So our communication strategy, we're looking at advertising, direct marketing and personal selling. So for advertising, here's a timeline of our coverage and also the breakup, so how we're going to do it. It's going to be held over 12 months with most of the focus concentrated on the first 6 months. We're going to have a direct marketing campaign, so to existing non-lenders via their chosen method of communication. And with that, if they live in a metro area, we're going to invite them to simulated auctions and display centre villages. And to existing lenders, we're going to mail them and we're going to invite them to speak to their lending manager so we can ensure that they've got the best deal and they feel happy with ANZ and are not shopping elsewhere. Personal selling, so this will be followed up mostly by lending managers, and this will follow the direct marketing messages, the simulated auctions, and from leads taken at the display centre booths. And the highlight of personal was there because we want them to be approachable and personable, not very bank-like or traditional bank-like. And we've created a suite of creative materials with a number of different themes. You'll see here some very Australian type backyard themes that we will have going throughout our materials, which will obviously be interspersed with different cultures because Australia is, very multicultural. We've got some materials covering our mobile bankers, mobile lenders, and we really want to promote them to the community. And we know that being responsive to the rate combined with our expertise should help us be, again, a trusted lender. We've developed a media budget. The bottom line is $2.35 million. You'll see there the breakdown of where the expenses will be. We feel that this is very achievable and consider the customer lifetime value, that this is a very sound, we're likely to have a very sound return on our marketing investment from this budget. This is how we're going to evaluate it. So we're going to prove what we did. So we're going to show that we have shared our market increase, and we're going to measure it for the home loaning sector, and then we're going to increase the overall and see what the difference between those two ratios are. We're going to look at our increase in retention, and again, we're going to look at lending and then our overall customer base. And then we're going to look at customer satisfaction. So we're going to look at that high number. So we're looking at 80%. And we're also going to look at the number of complaints. And we want to look at our improvement since the last report. So the ANZ story. Our brand is built upon tradition and trust, but we are innovative and creative. Let's be different to recent history, to other banks, leading the banks in providing customers with what they want. Thank you for your time today.